Hello everybody and welcome to Shibuya's Hachiko Scramble. So many people crossing this every single day, and what you see in front of us is the closed Tsutaya and Starbucks, which has been famous since 1999, 2000, when it opened right before the millennium. And we're going to be talking about the history of this building, as well as what the future holds and why it closed, and will it come back? What's going on? I miss it. How you doing, everybody? So where are you gonna go to get your coffee fix and take a look at the scramble? This is a really popular place to come, even for me. When I first came to Japan, it didn't exist though. It was a completely different building. In fact, the Lonely Planet book that I had when I came in '98 had the old Hachiko, the old layout of this building. Q-Front didn't come until 1999, a year after they started building it, and then it wasn't a thing until the millennium had started. But it was due for a change, and this building, though before it was Q-Front, was something that had no meaning at all to most of the people that walked through here. This neighborhood, Shibuya, has always been changing. It's always been a place of evolution. The buildings here, the businesses don't last for very long. The ones here probably are paying an extraordinary amount of rent, including that 109 building over there. That building is iconic from I believe the bubble era, just a little bit before. You can see the architecture is very unique. Let's walk across the street now. So when I came to Japan, it looked like, well, it didn't look quite like this, but I mean, it was the Tokai Ginko building to me. Ginko meaning bank. Tokai was my bank at the time. This goes back to like 1989, 1990. You can see it just doesn't look the same. There's a Tokyo Hans in there as well. There was a theater, I think, in there. I think it was called the Mine Gishi building. And you know, Hachiko Scramble was still massive. Back in 1990, they were also building, how you doing, sir? How you doing? Back in 1990, they were still building that building across the street, which is now got a lot of digital signage. But back then, just give you a couple minutes. Back then, the signs and the digital stuff didn't come until the year 2000. So, actually, I think it might be 2005. They didn't have any digital signage for quite a long time, but this building didn't come about until 2000. Which is crazy. So it's been 23 years, and it was due for a renovation. Now, the majority of the people that were inside of that were coming to Shibuya before they built this were high school girls. All right, kids, youth, and that's what this whole area is famous for. You can see with the signs, it's a vibrant place. It draws a lot of people. But in the year 2000. They just said, look, nobody is coming to go to our bank. Nobody is coming really to, and even the front for Tokyo Hans, it really wasn't going. This photo is really nice. This comes from Matt Alt's Pure Invention. So go check out his book. It gives you a really good history on Shibuya and Japan in general. But you can see the front has changed quite a bit. But that Tokai Bank was like, yeah, you know what? Kids don't really want to go into a bank, and they ended up becoming UFJ, and then eventually they became Tokyo Mitsubishi UFJ, and now it's like MFUG or something. It's still my bank, but it's certainly changed. Tokyo Hans is now down in this street, and then you can see how much Sentagai, which is this alley, really hasn't changed too much. But you can see even back then they had something different than these two round pillars, which look kind of retro, but they didn't come until the millennium, I believe. So they weren't here the first time I came to Shibuya, which is crazy. That's how long I've been here. It's a long time. So we had some people stop and say hi. I was in the middle of starting the live stream, but if you do come and say hi, that's cool. You gotta give me a second. I have a You Found Me card for you. Now, what we see with Shibuya, there is a lot of change, and it really doesn't look like the same place even 3 years ago, even 5 years ago, even last year. What am I saying? The Tokyo Honten department store is gone. I didn't even notice that Q Front had closed down for renovations because the Halloween stuff just kind of masked everything. So let's take a look at what happened here. So Time Out has had an article just recently, and they talked about the popular Starbucks and the Tsutaya have closed down, a victim of live streaming. Let's just be honest. Everyone is streaming video. You didn't need a video rental spot, and they needed to renovate it and get rid of all of that stuff. There was a lot of VHS. You could still rent VHS cassettes. You could still rent VHS cassettes inside that Tsutaya. But it closed down on October 31st, and it's going to be improved. So you'll be able to get books and all sorts of media, but you're not going to be able to get VHS anymore, which is probably a good thing. The article also talks about Shibuya, which opened up here, I think it was like 2004, 2005. The Starbucks wasn't the original tenant in there. I don't believe so. I think it was something called Wired Cafe was in there for the first couple of years, and then the Starbucks ended up becoming part of it. In general, Starbucks didn't even open up until Japan until 1998. When I came to Japan, they had one shop in Japan, and it was located in Ginza. And then they opened up a second one, which was at Shinjuku, on the Shinjuku South exit, in the Western Terrace, they would call it. And then the third shop, I can't remember, but then it just like, it was everywhere. And then I believe it was around that time, or just, I don't know, a few years after they had opened this, that it came up here and opened, and they've been there ever since. But the iconic Shibuya sign is not there either. So there's some big changes. Now they have said that they're going to reopen this, and they're going to do it in the spring of 2024. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that is going to be changing here. Let me show you what came off of the Shibuya Culture Club. Just kind of talk about it. So CCC is the owners of Tsutaya, Convenience Culture Club. They don't make their money through even live streaming, because Netflix and Hulu and all those have taken all that business, which is a shame. There's basically, that part of the business was gone the way of Blockbuster, but they still have something up their sleeves, which is a huge business. Do you know what that is? They have information, and that information was in the form of what's called a T card. And I'll be honest with you, I used to have it because you get points and you can get some money back, but I just don't trust Tsutaya with my information, or anybody, so I don't have a T card, which is one of these point cards that they have. And Tsutaya just gets everybody, or CCC gets everybody's information, and is able to sell that as trends, or understand where consumers are going. And they also can possibly even see the future based on all of this information, because I'd say the vast majority of people in Japan have T cards. It has a big T on it, and T stands for Tsutaya. It was a blue card with a yellow T on it. I don't have one, but that business is huge, because now you're controlling everybody else's business because you own the power. So they didn't need the VHS rental stuff, and it's just very costly to renovate it all, to change the business too. So they were stuck, because there were still people renting VHS. There's still people renting VHS in Japan, just like there are people who have fax machines in Japan, which is crazy when you think about it, but it's not really, because it's Japan. Everybody uses, people still like VHS. There's a Tower Records just down the street here, all right? There's a Tower Records just down the street, so. I have to be honest, I mean, when you see that, Japan's a special place. It's just down the street there. And they still have more, they have more than just CDs. It's a place where people just like to go. And I think that having it around kind of makes me feel kind of connected to my childhood, because everybody born in the 70s and 80s probably were hanging out in the Tower Records at one time in their life. So kind of a big deal. What do you guys think about that? Starbucks, or the last nugget of information I can give you is this here. Is Starbucks coming back? I don't know. Nobody really knows, and that's sort of the problem. I'm not getting any chats here, so I'm not even sure I'm doing a live stream. But that's the situation. So you won't get a chance to have the coffee up on the iconic Tsutaya building until they come back in the spring. And even then, we're not sure what they're going to have here. I'm not sure how they're going to renovate it, what's going to happen with this building. We don't see it. Oh, there's still kind of like a wired cafe on the 7th floor here. But right now, Starbucks is closed here. All right, everybody, I hope this was useful information. I might do another live stream walking down towards Omotesando and enjoying this beautiful, warm, sunny weather that we have here in Shibuya. Until then, mata ne.